Marquis, what's up, brother?
What's good with you?
What's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm just chilling, man. What you got going?
I'm cool, man. I never go live, man, and so like, I do a lot of podcasts and do a lot of radio and that kind of stuff, and then so I wanted to do something cool on my Instagram where I just talk to people, cool people who do cool things, man, and so I reached out to you because Edgewater Eagles, we stick together, and I was just letting people know that we stick together in that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
But for people who don't know you, of course, Marquis Daniels. Or I think. Well, I won't speak for you. and Auburn is it? What is it? War Eagle.
Yeah, War Eagle.
Auburn War Eagle, and then NBA. How many years you did in the NBA?
10.
10 years in the NBA. And what's the average like amount of time a person plays in the NBA?
Probably like 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
That's even with first round draft picks. They don't really stay around that long.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, I ain't get drafted too, so you had to grind.
Right. So when it's somebody who didn't get drafted, that number looked way lower than.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, once you in, you in. It's just a matter of you getting yourself out. You just got to stay in.
True. Okay. And what I always wonder. So when you came out and you played for Dallas, right?
Right.
That was your first team.
Yep.
And then it was you and it was Josh Howard.
Yep.
And you you guys were like rookie standouts.
Yeah, we came in, man, we had a chip on our shoulder, man. We felt like we was overlooked, and it was no animosity amongst each other. So, like, if he had a bad game, I had a bad game, we was able to talk to each other and, kind of help each other out throughout our whole rookie process.
Where, because what I always like wonder, and it might just be like an Orlando bias, or it might just be an Edgewater Eagle bias, but it's like when you guys came out and you guys had a standout rookie year, like you guys had standout rookie years, and it kind of felt like you didn't get like not the pitch you guys get each other, but you didn't like get that like that push, like as far as like media, like that. Look at the year that he's having.
From Orlando, or
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, do you feel like you got that like push?
like, to be honest with you, man, I never really did it for nobody outside of myself and my family.
Fair enough.
Like,
Fair enough.
Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and when you start trying to do stuff for other people, that's when you get in a bad situation.
That's true. That's true, man. And I'm glad you said that, man. Because like this is my thing. So like, you came. So you were like a star. Like people who don't know, you was a star in high school.
Right.
Then you went to Auburn.
Right. I went to Mount Zion first. I left my junior year and went prep school.
Okay. Oh yeah. So you went, and that's like the top prep school in the nation, like.
Right. At the time, yeah.
And so then you decide Auburn.
Right.
And then, I mean, you went 4 years at Auburn?
Yeah. I ended up doing like 3 because my test scores kept getting kicked out, and I came in academic risk, so I had to do some stuff to get in school first.
And like so what a drive, like what a drive come from? Because not only did you not get drafted, then you made it to the league, do 10 years, but you had that academic hold on you,
right.
And then you still like persevere. What is that drive?
Man, if you know where I grew up at, man, you know what it was like over there. So just trying to make it and be able to take care of my mom and my family, just get us out of that situation. That was my drive.
Right. And can you like put the camera on you a little better? Yeah. Now so like, okay, so where are you from, for people who don't know?
I'm from Orlando, Florida.
What part?
Crosstown.
Crosstown. Like you gotta say it, man, because like people don't know like what that means. Like you from Crosstown.
Yeah.
Right.
It's different. A lot of people it's almost, first thing they think about Orlando, they say Disney World. They think, the theme parks and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Be honest, I never went to Disney World till my daughter was born.
Right.
And I was 27 maybe. Like,
And
I,
you had at that time you had a career where you are like 1%. Like people don't realize a lot of us who from here who like really from here, we not transplants. We don't go to Disney.
ain't got no business being over there.
First of all, we can't afford Disney.
Exactly.
And then for two, it's like that's the thing because people don't realize that. Like, say cross town, people don't realize that is dangerous environment. It's not to glorify it because it's not something that we happy out of, but it ranks in the top for like violent cities.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just growing up in that, man, you can get caught up in it, or you can, use it to motivate yourself to get out of it. And thankful I had older brothers and older people around me that didn't allow me to do some of the stuff. Like I still did my little dirt here and there, but I had to sneak and do it. It wasn't nobody pushing me like, come on, let's do this. I had to like sneak and do it. If they called me, then they're like, man, go to the gym, go do something, get from around here.
but that's what because like what made me like want to reach out to you, Keith, like because you know like the Ja Morant going on in the media, and obviously didn't come out as high profile as Ja Morant, but that actually makes it harder because you had to like persevere in a way that a lot of people don't persevere don't persevere through to make it for one and then last 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's all
to like even with the Ja Morant situation, like I can't speak on because I don't know young fella like that personally, but I think a lot of that is the people that's around him. Like a lot of people are talking about what they'll say to Ja Morant, but they need to talk to his friends. Because if he got real friends, they ain't gonna put him in those situations. They ain't gonna be like, man, get your ass, go home.
Right.
Like you gonna be on live doing this and doing that. Like they're not gonna allow him to do that. Because he's the one, helping them out. But once that water get cut off and he don't be having the money to do this and do that for him, then you gonna really see who for you, but then it'd be too late. But while he still got time, his friends need to be the ones to step up to tell him, nah, man, you wrong. Because yes, man, ain't nothing but a recipe for disaster.
Honestly, that's how I look at it too. Like I always felt, it feels like it's like.
All right, Lydia is back tonight from last night. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll have a medicine early and then in the morning. Okay. And have a good night. You comfortable? You okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
And nice to meet y'all.
Nice meeting you too.
You good?
Yeah.
But I feel the same way about that because, like you said, man, it's just certain like unwritten, like unspoken kind of like rules how we maneuver in our community. So if it's some opportunity to like make it from a certain situation or be in a place where they can create generational wealth, or they can be in a situation where they have an opportunity that most people don't have. Naturally, even the people who technically not the best element, go make sure that you remain in a positive space.
Yeah, and a lot of times people be secretly mad that you in that space. They'll be around, to try to, milk you and get all the game off you and get all the, try to get what they can out of you. And once it's a lot of people that when you do stuff for them, they hit you with, well, I ain't asked you to do it. So you got to be careful of who you allow in your circle. And, like, you got to protect your energy, man. Protect your spiritual side of everything. Like, you can't just allow anybody around you. Like, to be honest with you, like, I don't know nobody that grew up with 30 friends. Like, 30 friends. Some people be having 10 friends. Like, I'm 41. I think you maybe have, like, maybe 8 real friends in your life. Like people I don't know how they have all these new friends, and it's like you look up, it's 15, 20 people with them. And those are the ones that's always getting in trouble.
Right. So, I mean, so how did you avoid that?
Like I said, I had older brothers, man, that my brothers and my friends, that the ones that I grew up with, they wouldn't allow me to be out and try to selling drugs or going to the club or doing this and that. Like I said, if I did, I had to sneak to do it. But if they caught me doing that, they're like, man, you go to the gym. Like I had a crackhead one time on the block trying to sell dope. He came up and was like, man, give me this and go home. And thank God he did. The police hit the block like 10 minutes later. And it's like, man, like you saved my life. I still talk to him to this day, but it's like nowadays, man, if a little baby got money, like I'm talking about a 2-year-old kid, they'll call him Big Bro. Anybody that got money, that's their big brother now. And they confused. It ain't really no OGs out here to really kind of get these youngsters some game, try to give them some wisdom. Because at the end of the day, they try to tell the kids, and most of the kids don't want to hear nothing. But man, I fuck with you. That's all they want to hear.
Because people value money more than they value people. So like I'm moving the understanding that somebody who's homeless or a crackhead or somebody can give you a jewel,
right.
and they can not have anything but something but experience. Now it's like you said, man. You calling somebody big brother and just because they got money or dig this, just because they got fame.
Exactly.
Blue check. They might not even have money. I've run across a lot of people with blue checks and they got no money.
And they love them. They're like, oh, you got a check, like, bro, that don't mean nothing. Like, but that's the world we live in. We live in a world where everybody, if you say it first, they believe it, rather than them going and checking and finding out for themselves. It's scary. Like, if somebody put out something first, oh, it must be true. Instead of going to do some research on it and find out for yourself, they rather just believe the first thing they hear.
Right. It's especially if the first thing they hear is negative.
And 9 times out of 10, it probably is.
Right. That's why it's always interesting, because just by 6 degrees of separation, we link in that way. Well, me and you link in that way. So it's like to see you excel and then still excelling, and we'll get to that in a minute. But or just still expand into new heights. You know what I mean? Like it's always like looking at somebody like a Ja Morant, or looking at somebody like when you see that happen, you see him going down a certain path that can cost him everything. It's always interesting to have somebody who's been in similar shoes and avoid it.
Yeah, man. Like I say, he's just got to get better people around him. Got to get out of the environment, because it's crazy how a lot of people that's saying what they would do, they're adults. Like, you got to understand, this is a kid that just came across a lot of money in a situation with a fame, and everybody want to be in his shoes. So now he feel like, I got to put this image on to be like somebody. Yeah. Now you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't, man. You can't say what you're doing until you in that situation. Like, everybody done did something that was crazy. You just ain't had that magnifying glass on you like he do.
And it's hard to listen to it. It might be people giving him that advice, but it's hard to listen to that advice when, like you said, it's people he probably looked up to his whole life or older than him who calling him big bro.
Big bro. What's up, big bro, man? You just big bro right here. What's up, big homie, man? You 10 years older than this dude. Right. You should be trying to give him some game. Help him out.
So that it's hard to, I mean, like somebody told me one time, man, if everybody telling you that you got, then you gonna start to believe it.
Yeah, until God humble you, you don't want him to put his hands on you. They heavy.
And so fortunately, I mean, or hopefully, speaking of like Ja Morant, hopefully this moment is just God's hands, as they're getting more severe or worse.
Yeah, I think young fella, I pray he come out of it, because with our culture, man, as much as we glorify them, we build each other up to put them on a high pedestal, and once they do something wrong, we quick to push them down and kick dirt all over them, talk bad about them. Instead of trying to uplift them and try to put them in a better situation, we quick to, I knew he was going to mess up this. I knew that, like, that's just our culture. And, so we automatically feel like we got to do this to be down. When you ain't got to do nothing, man, just be you.
Now, before we move past the NBA, because your whole life ain't the NBA, you got a lot of stuff going on and been going on. But I remember when Kobe passed away.
Yeah,
I'm a big Kobe fan. I'm a huge Kobe fan, and you put up a touching post, and it was you guarding Kobe. I think you put it on Instagram, and it was like a heartfelt message that you put up. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Man, it was tough. You know, Kobe's the ultimate competitor. You know, just playing against one of the all-time greats of the game, and the things he was doing as far as with women's basketball with his daughter, and like I have a daughter, they're about the same age, and so it was something that I was doing, but his was being seen more because, you know, it's Kobe. So just knowing how that happened with him and his daughter, and then I look at my daughter, and they're the same age, and I'm like, man, this could have been, you know, a similar situation, but I'm fortunate enough to still be here to help my child get through this stuff. And it's like, you know, when you have little girls, for example, growing up in this world, man, they need their dads in a major way, because between social media and everything else, man, there's so much distraction, and they need mental health. And a lot of the mental health comes from within their family structure. The mothers can do a lot, but their fathers help a lot in those situations, because they can give them a game on a whole nother aspect of what's going on, as far as, you know, little boys talking to them, dealing with sports, or whatever the case may be. Mothers are going to always be nurturing, but a father could give them a different side of things that they can understand. And, you know, you got to try to be there as much as you can. And a lot of times, us fathers, is all races, you feel like you have to have money to be there. Sometimes your time is more valuable than money. So you have to go there and just spend time with them and just make sure that they know you're there. Because when they get older, they're going to understand, like, nah, my dad was there, my mom was there, whatever the case may be. But right now, you just got to love on them and just listen to them. And, you know, as parents, coaches, teachers, everything in life, we so quick to tell kids what to do instead of asking them what do they want to do. You know, ask them what they want to do, and then you can go from there. Now you could put in your love, whatever you want to do to help them navigate through life and get them to do what they need to do.
Man, I was, so Sunday I went to this pop-up. I just had a daughter. My daughter's 10 months. And family. And it was women. We actually had a conversation about family. And so it was like they had like a panel of women discussion, and kind of like all interact. And this lady was with this lady. She probably like our age, maybe like 40, around that age. She was with her mother, and she grabbed me and she hugged me, and she was like in tears, and she was like, "Just thank you for being present in your daughter's life, because I didn't have a father present in my life." And then her mother grabbed me on a separate time throughout the day, and basically kind of told me the same thing from her perspective.
Right.
So it's like, it is important. It's important for the father mother dynamic with boys, with kids in general, but it is increasingly important for a woman,
right?
You know, to have her father in her life, man. So that's a fact, too, man.
And it helps with them in life, with relationships, just everything, how to handle stuff. Because if you just raised around women all the time, and nothing wrong with it, because my mom, she raised us, but a lot of times you're going to handle situations as a woman would, you know, and that's off emotions. If you have that mixed environment of a man and a woman in there, now you know how to deal with certain things. Sometimes it's going to be emotional. Sometimes it's going to be, okay, I need to deal with this from a man's side. I see it from a man's side. I see it from a woman's side. And that's with boys and girls. You need both in their life. You don't have to be married or with your wife or with your girlfriend or whatever. Like, y'all can co-parent. It can happen. You can't be mad because y'all not together. Like, y'all got to do this, because at the end of the day, no kid in this world gets to pick and choose where they're born at. Like, we all was born in situations that we had no control over. But now that we're here, we got to figure it out and try to make the best of it. And with the kids that's coming up, we got to do the same with them.
That's a fact, man. And so speaking of your daughter, how many kids you got?
I got two.
Two. So speaking of your daughter, 'cause I see your daughter playing ball too, and I seen, like, at what capacity are you coaching at Auburn?
I'm the director of player development here.
Okay. So, did that happen before your daughter was, like, in the hoop? After?
Well, she was already playing. Like, she was kind of, you know, she was a really girly at first. And, you know, like, my wife, she played here as well. So she always kind of been around basketball. And she just started playing. And, of course, she was getting taller and she was getting better at it. And, you know, at first I wanted to make sure she liked the game first. So I was just letting her enjoy it, because you can run a kid off if you try to force it on them. So I just let her see if she liked it. And when she got of age, I was like, all right, it's going to get harder. So I started taking her through drills. And I don't give her everything. Like, I try to give her something every year so she can look at it and be like, okay, I'm getting better in this area. You see a lot of kids, they're really good early, and then you be like, man, what happened? They fizzled out. They peaked out early. And sometimes it's hard because these kids are playing the game for their parents instead of for themselves, because the parents are over there still trying to live through them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can't coach and be a parent. Like, sit over here and be a parent. You know, stop. Oh, I'm wasting my money doing this for you, doing that. Like, now the kid gonna feel like they playing to make you happy.
You or
That need to do.
That brings up a good point, because like, what's it like for you, where, and not to say like you rich or anything like that, but what's it like for you to have your child being able to play sports and there's no burden for her to have to basically like make it out and provide for you or for your family?
Man, I think one thing that all kids need to understand, that whatever you do in life, if you play sports, whatever it is that you do, if you become successful at it, you don't owe nobody in this world nothing. So what your parents do for you, they supposed to do that for you. So you ain't got to feel like, oh, I got to make it to do this for my mama. Like, if you do something for them, you supposed to, you know, that's what you want to do. But don't let nobody put that extra pressure on you to feel like, oh, yeah, you remember I bought these shoes when you was younger? Yeah, okay. You remember that? Yeah, okay. So don't let nobody put that pressure on you. And I hear it a lot, like, oh, when my baby make it, they going to get me this. Like, man, don't do that to them kids. They ain't asked to come here. You brought them here. So support them and let them make them decisions on their own when they get older.
How do you make sure that, because even as a parent, if you ain't trying to, a child inherently innately loves their parents and they add pressure on themselves. So how do you keep the pressure down, especially you have a daughter who's starting to get like those looks? How do you keep the pressure down?
Just mainly just tell them that, you know, you gotta want this more for yourself than I want it for you. So if you don't come up with what you want, you're not letting me down. You letting yourself down.
Right.
So if you want it more than I want it for you, you're not hurting me. You know, you gotta want it. You gotta hate to lose as much as you love winning. So want it more for yourself than I want it for you. Because I can't be the one to tell you, hey, you need to go to the gym, or you need to go do this. Like, you need to be coming, hey, Dad, can we go to the gym, or can we go do this? Now you're showing a different level of appreciation for what it is you want to do.
Now, okay, so it's head of player development. What is that?
A lot of people think it's just mostly basketball stuff, man. A lot of times it's dealing with life in general, man. Like, I want you to win in life. Like, I don't want you to just win on the court. I want you to win in life. Like, you can own a McDonald's or Starbucks, whatever the case may be. Like, you know, call home, talk to your family, learn how to deal with social media stuff, learn how to deal with, you know, breakups with girlfriends or parents or friends or whatever the case may be. Like, I want you to come to me and be able to talk to me, and whatever it is you're going through, we could just talk about it. So a lot of times people don't have nobody that they can go talk to, because when you think about it, most players or most people deal in situations they can't really go talk to their coaches, because they're going to look at them like, man, he the police. I got to tell coach something. He going to go back and tell this. So now you got to build that trust with him and let them know like, nah, man, I probably did the same thing you was doing. I'm probably still doing it. So we're going to keep that with you. Like, whatever we talk about, that's between us.
So they know.
Right.
You got to show them the mixtape that you done making music?
Man, I'm done. I still be having a couple of people hit me up, and I be like, nah, I can't, man. My daughter, she rap a little bit now, but I ain't, nah.
Come on, man. You had some heat, man.
Nah, I'm cool on that, man. That rapping stuff, man, that might be like worse than going to war right now. Them rappers, it's dangerous to be a rapper.
For sure. Because,
Yeah.
man, you said the mouthful, man. Everybody trying to prove it now.
Yeah, it's like, and people gonna try you just because of you raps. Like, you can't even like show stuff you bought, and like, yeah, I want to show that, you know, I'm living good. I'm enjoying what I work hard for. Man, people jealous. They don't want to see you doing good, especially not better than them.
Yes, man. Things done changed. But
Yeah, big time.
it used to be like we saw rappers or musicians and we were like they were stars. That is like straight green eye envy.
It's different, man. Like I say, a lot of people have hit it, and then a lot of times people be like, oh, I grew up with him. Okay, so why you can't support him until he get? It's crazy how you don't get the support from your people that you were right around until a stranger does it. And then see them doing this, like, oh yeah, I've been doing you, like, but you never supported me. Like, you never came to nothing I did. You never listened to my music. Now all of a sudden you were my #1 fan. So at the end of the day, that comes with stop trying to do everything for, especially the people close to.
Hell yeah, because people be feeling entitled.
Oh no, that's almost worse than fame right now. The entitlement.
Man, it's maybe I'm the man, but it's like it really make me feel a way when you feel like I have to do something for you.
Man, you better get rid of that feeling. You're gonna be behind in life forever. Like I tell my kids right now to this day, stop caring so much. Because it'll consume you and it'll eat you up. This world is like it ain't fair. Like life ain't fair, but you gotta understand that when you care too much, people will eat you alive. They'll take advantage of you. Like it'll get done. Stop feeling like, oh, if I don't do it, it'll get done.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, what was it like when you first got to the NBA, or even when you just were playing in the NBA? Speaking of entitlement, like how many people? I actually this is a better question. What was the craziest thing that somebody asked you for? like it could be somebody you didn't know they asked you for $10,000 the best, and they've been like, what was the craziest thing somebody asked you for in the heat of like you playing?
I mean, of course, money is always gonna be something, but a lot of times, a lot of people will always come and be like, "Hey, man, I need to start this business or this and that." And so I should always tell them this: like, if you can't go to the bank with that idea, don't come to me.
Right.
You know, you want me to waste my, like, if the bank ain't gonna support what you thinking about, don't come to me with it. Cause
right. What's the craziest dollar amount somebody asked you for?
Anything? It's just once they get into the thousands, it's like, what make you fix your mouth to ask me that? Like, and it's almost like, oh man, you changed. Nah, you changed. You never asked me for that, so why you? Like, so change.
Dollars. You asked me for $3,500.
Nah, it's $3,500. I'd be happy. Like, nah, it'd be crazy. Some of the stuff you hear, man. Like, and it's always you the last person. I don't want to ask you, but you the last resort I got. Or they give you the courtesy call. They'll call you like a couple of days before, then they'll call you a couple of days later, so you can't say, man, I ain't heard nothing from you. But then they call you a couple of days later, like, yeah, but you know, such and such. I understand that too. So I like, hey, man, I just had to pay this bill or something. And then if they still ask me, man, they don't care nothing about you.
Now, did you always have the ability to say no, or did you?
My oldest brother was always around me, so like if they ask, I should give him his number. So he quick to tell you no. Hell no, we ain't doing that. So you need somebody around you. You need a no person around you, because the people come to you and be like, oh, this nigga done changed. He don't act the same. He done did this, and it could be somebody you don't even really know like that. It's he acting funny. Nah. So and you always got to be having a good day, regardless of what's going on. You got to always be in a good mood, because it could be just that one person come to you and he asks for an autograph or whatever, and somebody could be sick in your family, whatever the case may be. And you don't be nice to that person, or you're an a-hole. You this, you that, you everything in it, not knowing that you going through stuff too. Like, everybody got a life.
Right. Because I mean that's because you know why it's fun to talk to you about this kind of stuff, because it happens on every level.
Right.
Because no matter how you doing, people who think like it's people see you in the NBA, they'll be like, oh, he got it. People will see me.
Right. You ain't gonna hurt you. How you know?
Yeah, like, come on, man. And so, like, at every level, it's gonna be somebody or some people who think that your life is just immensely better than theirs.
Exactly. Not knowing what you going through or what you dealing with. Like, yeah, it's cool to have money, but at the same time, you still got problems. They're just bigger now. They're bigger problems. Like, you got bills. They just got more bills now. Like, everybody got the same problems.
Right. I just don't understand it, man. And I be offended. You know.
Hey, man, stop caring so much.
Okay. So here's a fun question. You can be honest, or you don't have to. But it's two questions. What's the worst thing, the worst money spend thing that you've done? It could be in life. And what's the best financial thing you've done?
The worst, money-wise?
Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. I mean, I don't. It depends on how you look at it. Cause I had fun with whatever I did. Some people may think it was bad, but I had fun with everything I did. But I mean, if I could go back and change some stuff, I probably like going out, going to clubs, going to just probably clubbing.
What about what's about one shot? So it could be like you went to the club and you spent $10,000 on bottles, or you bought Maserati and you couldn't drive stick. It could be anything like that, but it's just one shot that you spent something crazy.
Man, like I said, I had some fun. I had a lot of wild nights. So I mean, it done been sometimes. I know I was in a club and I probably threw a lot of money. Like,
just say the number, man. Nobody, you know.
Nah, I threw a lot of money. Like yeah.
Okay, so all right. So what's the best? So you ain't gonna tell me the number. You know, but what's the best thing? What's the best investment purchase?
I think probably one of the best investments is I wouldn't even necessarily say, you mean money wise or just period?
I mean, it's however you interpret the question.
Man, I think probably one of the best investments I did was probably putting more into myself and actually learning who I am to be a better dad and a better husband to my wife.
That's right.
Because I was young and I was out and I was just like I was like day to day with life. Like, I got tomorrow. I do it tomorrow. I got tomorrow. Like, and I had to learn that, a lot of my actions as a young adult was something that can affect my kids later down the line. And so that was probably one of the biggest things that I had to learn, was just like, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life and understand that. Because at the end of the day, I knew the ball was gonna start bouncing at some point, so I need to figure out what I need to be doing to make sure that my kids, my wife, are straight.
Fair enough. And, okay, and so like since we from Orlando, and you were, did you miss the basketball?
Man, you know what? I don't even know. Like, man, like I was like, a lot of people don't even know half the stuff I was doing when I was at Edgewater. Like, it was like it got to the point where my coach, he was coming to pick me up for school in the morning, and I was hiding still to not go. And so like that's why I ended up having to go to private school my junior year. I came home. My mom, she called me. I had a beeper. She paged me. She's like, so I called back. She's like, you need to come home. I come to the house, and it's like I remember it was a Lexus parked in the hood. I'm like, man, who car is this over here? Like, I ain't never seen one of these. So there was two dudes sitting in the house, and she was like, you getting the hell out of here tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, where I'm going. So I walked in my room. My bags was packed, and I left the next day.
And
your
mom, she low-key saved your life.
She saw something that, I didn't. Being at home, you thinking, I had never really left Florida for real. Like, all I knew was Orlando and just the circle and being across town. Like, I ain't know much about too much of nothing. So even when I got to prep school, like, I'm up there playing with them, and I was like, man, what's going on right now?
Right.
And I didn't even know where Auburn was when I first came here. Like, I came on my visit. I'm like, yo, where am I? Hey, like, you in Alabama. And so I'm like, oh, all right. And I mean, it was cool. It's probably one, like I say, it's the best thing my mom could ever did for me. I hated it, though. I ain't gonna lie. The first 3 months when I was up there in North Carolina, I was calling home every day, like, Mom, I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do right. I was trying to get back home, but it was the best thing for me, man, because I actually came home maybe it was a couple of years later, and I was probably in my 5th, 6th year playing in the league, and a guy walked up to me. He's like, man, it's good to see you. I thought you'd be dead by now. I'm like, yo, it was that bad? And, even one of my cousins, he just got out of prison. He was like, he called me one day. He's like, man, we was living effed up. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, man, just think about how we was living back then. It was normal to us because we saw it every day. It was normal life. But, thank God that, he was able to get us through out those situations, and we was able to learn from it.
Man, ain't that's some crazy shit that you don't even realize. You don't realize how out there you be.
Yeah, and it's a lot of kids right now that's the same way. It's normal to them. Like, it's just normal life to them. It's just like we're really brought up into PTSD. Like, we deal with so much as a young black male in our neighborhoods growing up, you know, from, you know, the cop harassment to just dealing with the, you know, single parents, all that stuff. Like, that stuff is traumatizing to a young kid that's trying to make it. Like, I used to joke with my mom all the time. I'm like, Mom, you used to cuss us out every morning before we go to school. Didn't tell us have a good day. Like, how the hell I'm gonna have a good day? You just cussed me out. But it was just part of, like, that's what they knew. But I mean, it helped us. But you look at these kids now and you ask them, what's the toughest thing you've been through in life? And they're going to probably tell you their phone got took. You know what I'm saying? My game got took or this and that. Like, they haven't been through anything. But yet you quick to tell them, hey, man, you need to be tough. What they being tough from?
Right.
Been through nothing. So it's like, even with, you look at sports, they're like, oh, these kids soft now. Okay, yeah, they are.
Right.
But at the same time, what have they been, like, their parents are able to get money to get them proper training, so they're more skilled. Back then, it was the kids from the urban areas that they were skilled, but they were tougher because they had to go outside and play. Man, you barely get some of these top kids. You ain't gonna see them outside playing basketball. They ain't got no gym. They ain't going.
Right.
And that's just life, man.
It's one of those things because we from a certain time where we think that because we survived it, that was necessary. That shit really wasn't like
It was messed up, man.
Like you know what I mean? So it's like my children, they have a cushy life, and sometimes I want to be like, man, when I was little, this happened, this, but I realized that wasn't necessary either. So
Right.
you got to find some other way for you to learn the lessons without having to be a part of no hardship like that.
It is hard to do that because it's like you want them to go outside, but you really can't because, man, these kids they don't fear God anymore, man. They would do anything at any time. So you don't want your kids being out in a situation and something crazy happen, because I know I ain't gonna have no understanding. Like, it ain't nothing to talk about. It's like, I never even took my kids to my neighborhood. Like, until I got older, I used to tell my daughter, like, I actually took them over there one time when they got a little older, and she was like, y'all stay right here, all of y'all with only one bathroom? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's just stuff like that. It's like, where's the air conditioner? I'm like, it was in my mama room. You know, like, the rest of the house, we had fans. Like, and so she just was like, I couldn't have did that. Y'all, where's the Wi-Fi? Y'all had Wi-Fi? I'm like, nah.
Hey, and you know what's crazy? And we was lit with the fan.
Yeah, you put that fan in the window, man. That's some of the best sleep ever.
For real.
Not no more, man. Them kids, man, they need air, they need Wi-Fi. They can't move, they can't get around. They don't feel right.
That's man. Okay, before we get up out of here, man, let's do some cliche shit. But since we talking basketball, top 5. Now it's up to you. You can do top 5 Florida high school basketball. You can do top 5 NBA. You can do top 5 teammates. Whatever means top 5 to you.
Top 5. Man, to be honest with you, man, it'd be so hard for me to watch the NBA right now, man. Like, the score was like 176, 175 the other night. Like, I can't.
Somebody,
but it's just hard for me to watch.
Oh,
yeah, it's like it's hard to watch, man. It's like, these scores is crazy. Like, dude scoring 70 points is like 30 points now. Like, it's nothing.
71 points twice in this year.
It's crazy, man, watching it. I mean, I try to watch it, but and to be honest, I'd rather watch girls basketball right now.
Right.
Because they still playing the right way. They still, you know, I like watching the fundamentals. And don't get me wrong, it's still some entertaining NBA basketball, but I'd rather watch it when the playoffs start.
Especially when you like that. Oh, okay, so let's do this, because this is even better. Your top 5 college women basketball players
Right now.
Right now.
Oh man. I like the girl Paige Bucker. She's nice at UConn. Caitlin Clark at I think it's Iowa. She's nice. Angel Reese, she's good. Leah Boston, how many is that? That 4? And I like the kid from Stanford as well. She's nice too. What is her name?
The 3-point shooter.
The big girl. She's a post player. Man, it's I don't want to leave nobody out. Like, it's a kid at Ole Miss. She can really play I can't. She's a little guard. She a bucket. Man, it's some girls out there that can hoop, man. Like, you know, Flage's nice. Girls here at Auburn, they're good. Like, it's some girls out there that can hoop, man. I just like watching women's basketball. Like, them girls be out there, they be balling. Like the guard from Notre Dame, she's good.
Would you want to coach?
Coach women?
Anybody?
Eventually, I'm gonna get into it. It's I think the thing that's missing with a lot of the coaching is that these kids are, like you say, they're entitled, so they come in and they feel like they supposed to get this such and such. Like, nah, like everybody want microwave success. Like, nobody really wants to like really put it in the crock pot, let it slow cook and grind. They want the 3 minutes of, I should be doing this. Like, you got to put your hours in. You got to work. You got to grind. Everybody want it right now, and I get it, but it's hard, and they're making it hard. You know, there's just so much that's going on, man, that these kids having to deal with from, you know, like social media is probably like this phone I'm holding in my hand is probably the biggest downfall ever. Like, if I could go back, I wouldn't give my kids a phone so early. But they also need it because when they play in sports, you got to know where they're going.
Without it.
Yeah, so it's but at the same time, it's the devil's playground.
Man, well, Marquis, I appreciate you giving me some time, man. When you come back home, you got to come do one of my podcasts. One of them a little bit more ratchet than the other. Right, I'm in my best journalist mode. Okay. But when you come to town, we gonna have, you know, some cognac or something like that, whatever, and like really cut loose like that. Everything, you know. I know you married, right? Still?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be nothing that crazy, but you know, we gonna cold kick it.
Listen, man, you could put me around certain things. It's up to me how I react.
That's a fact, man. But I don't like to be the catalyst or nothing unless that way. But and when you come home, you know, just bring me some Auburn gear. You know what I mean? Like
Got you.
The little windbreaker hat. You know what?
Send me your sizes, man. When we get out, text me your sizes.
Say less, man. Say less. I appreciate you giving me some time, man. I just want to say that I value you. I value your time. I appreciate what you're doing, what you have done. What your success from NBA, you more than NBA. What you're doing for the children that you work with now, what you do for your children, what you do for your family is necessary. I value it. I appreciate it. Love you for that.
Respect, man. Respect. Appreciate you having me on.
For sure. And I'm gonna hit your inbox with my sizes, man. You know, take your time at your leisure. You know, you can hook me up.
Right.
And peace and love.